Hi, this is Lisa and welcome to my channel. In Rate That Model, today we're going to take a close look at Emerson. To best describe what this model is, I would like to read directly from the advertisement from the Breyer site. And the quote being, "Many racing aficionados will say that they watch for a thoroughbred that has the look, a hard to define special something about their appearance and demeanor that lets you know that they're a winner. Susan Carlton-Sifton has certainly imparted that feeling into her sculpture of Emerson. Racing fit, Emerson has a well-muscled, lean body that's paired with long, strong legs. His expression is alert yet calm, as if he's taking in the sights and competition in the paddock before a race." The reason I wanted to read that is because I don't think I could have said it any better about this model. She definitely nailed that. First, let's talk about artistic flair. I think this model is just fabulous in the way that Sue has pointed out all the muscular structure. You can see where Fred is pointing. You can see all the muscles. You can see some ribs showing. And what Sue has tried to do is really show a race-ready thoroughbred. One of the big questions about this model is he too thin? And you can see Fred here pointing out his ribs. If this was a real horse, I would say yes, it is too thin. You should not be able to run your hands along the ribs. There should just be a slight look of it. However, for artistic flair, she has shown this so you can see it's race ready, it's in great shape, it's got super long legs. So for artistic flair, I would definitely give this a 5-star. For this video, I want to concentrate on this area only. Since we only have limited time on what we want to look at, this is the area that I think is most of importance for this model. I also want to make it as simple as possible. I'm not going to be naming every little bone or get into technical details. I want this so that everybody can understand it as simply as possible. And again, this is just my opinion. Please leave yours in the comments below. I would love to have some conversation going on these. First thing we're going to do is look at a skeleton of a horse. And we want to have the highest point. We're going to find the highest point of the withers, the point of the shoulder, the point of the buttock, and the LS joint. And the LS joint is where everything rotates around. And on a model that is not always easy to do, but we try our best. So here I've marked the same points on Emerson. I'm guessing the LS joint is about here because I see this bone marked around here at the start and the end of the bone. And at the point of the shoulder, we're right around here, and the high point of the wither, approximately. For the back length, it should be between 45 and 50%. If you take this line from the highest point of the wither to the LS joint and divide that over the point of the hip to the point of the shoulder. With Emerson, we come to 47%, which is dead on. Way to go, Emerson. Next, we look at the rib cage, and we're going to take a line, again, these two lines that we've had before, and then we're going to take another estimate of where the ribs are. Take a line from down here, crossing over, and where these meet, going from there to there, we're going to take this length of this line and the length of this line, and they should be approximately the same. And for this horse, I'm coming in at 100%, which is right on. And we also want to see the distance from here to here, the depth of the rib cage. We want it to be fairly good. And he has a good average to deeper rib cage, so that is good. Now, if this line here was up here, that would be shorter. Now, for the length of the loin, I'm going to guesstimate where his ribs end. And the distance from here to here should not be too long. And in this case, that is actually quite about perfect. And now we're going to look at this length of this pelvis bone. Again, estimating where it is. On a real horse, it's easier to feel. And with a race horse, if we take this line and divide it by this one we've been using, it should be greater than 33% to get the speed that we want. Here we have 33.7%. Again, Emerson nails it. Another thing we're going to look at, because this is actually related to the last point I'm going to make, is the hocks and the stifle should be set high on a racehorse. That means the hock should be higher than the knee, and the stifle should be higher than the elbow. Maybe not quite that high. Now let's look at the depth of his flank, and this is one area where he does have an issue. So let's first look at the proportions of a model. Taking the red line as an approximate head length, that should be one head length, that should be one head length, this should be 1¼ head length, so maybe a little lower. And again, all of these should be one head length. So what I'm trying to show here is this stifle should be lower, and this flank is way up too high. He's got a very, very short flank length. Now this can be referred to as a shallow flank or wasp-waisted horse. And what that means is there's less room inside here for all that important internal stuff that allows him to breathe and all of those internal stuff he needs. So A and B should be similar here. However, here A is a lot shorter than B. And C should be shorter than A, which here it is much shorter than A. Now, if you take this line that I've drawn, that really is where his bottom line should be. So basically, the only thing that I'm going to point out with Emerson that he is shallow flanked. But if you see here, here's a racehorse in fit shape. That does not make him a bad racehorse. Although you may not want to breed him, he may be an excellent racehorse. Let's take a quick look at an ideal racehorse. This is Justify. This is a picture of him as a sire, more matured, and here he is after winning the Triple Crown. So he's still got quite a bit of depth here. Here he's got a little more weight on him, but this is an ideal racehorse. If I put Emerson on top, if you see lining him up there, you can see where the depth is missing. And that's not just weight, that is actually heart girth. A little bit longer would be nice. But the whole point here is that this person who sculpted him wanted him to have that look, long, lean, and fast look. So I don't think it's really that much of a problem. I really like him as he is. Now there is one breed of horse known for their short flank length right here, and I have him over top. So Emerson is sitting on top of this breed, and you can see he is perfectly lined up with the way this horse is built. And you can see that's an Akelteki. And with the right coloring and maybe a few little minor tweaks, this model would also make an amazing Akelteki. The other thing about this breed is they're often thin, and you can often see their ribs. They have the same thin neck. And again, now Emerson has thicker legs, but that's because Breyers kind of need them for their stability. But I think he is a perfect example that could be used for this breed. You can see the long, high-set stifles, almost the same build. For showing Emerson in breed, you can show him as a young 2 to 3 year old thoroughbred. And if you're doing that, make sure if he is gray, that he is not white yet. He should be still graying out, still a lot of gray showing at that age. Otherwise, you could think about showing him as an Akelteki.
1 minute to post time, approaching the gate.
In my opinion, this model is very limited in performance. However, you can show him as a racehorse, either at the winning circle or with a groom, or you can put him in a costume. And whether you're showing him in breed or performance with this model, I would really recommend having a good reference photo. I wouldn't rank this one too high in playability, as he hasn't got any movement or anything for a kid's toy, but he is very pretty. So I give him a 3. Thanks for joining me on my journey. Please check out the next video, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.